guys? Welcome back to Ron's Rise. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. Where behind me I have my 2016 Maserati Ghibli S, and I made a video on the top 5 things I'm gonna miss about my Ghibli S during my past 3.5 years of ownership. Now I'm going to be getting rid of the car soon and getting it to something different. So I figured I'd make the top 5 things that I'm gonna miss, I'm gonna completely in love with, and then the top 5 things that I'm not gonna miss, and that's this video today. For the people that are new here and didn't see the previous video, the top 5 reasons of why I'm gonna miss my Maserati Ghibli, I'm gonna link that at the end of this video, but some people are just gonna click on this one because of the title, and they're gonna think that I'm just hating on the Ghibli. I am not. So to set the record straight, I already made a video about the things that I love the most about my car, and these are the things that I am not gonna miss once I do change out of this vehicle. So that's all it is. One side of the spectrum, the other side of the spectrum. So we're gonna start this off in chronological order, and we're gonna start with number 1. I'm just gonna get straight to it, just like I did in my other video for the top 5 things I'm gonna miss. Top thing that I'm not gonna miss about this car is the depreciation. Yes, the depreciation. Obviously, you guys know that that one was gonna come up. Now, we've done a few videos on Maserati depreciation, and every car depreciates, no matter what it is, unless it's a Ferrari or a Jeep. They all depreciate, all right? So it's not just Maserati, but this car in general, or Maserati brand, does take a big hit when you drive them off the lot and when you put some miles on them. Now, the depreciation affects you the most when you're actually purchasing the vehicle over leasing it. If you lease it, there's no reason that depreciation will affect you. If you do purchase a vehicle and you plan on reselling it, that's when you'll run into your issues. So depreciation hits pretty hard on Maseratis. So when you're trying to sell them, I mean, you lose a crap ton of money. Now, Maserati is supposed to be changing that for 2019 and up. They start to make some changes that will help implement the market and make it so that these cars don't lose a crap ton. So from here on out, if Maserati's plan works, you should see a lot better resale value, which means a lot less depreciation. The second thing under depreciation that I won't miss about this car, ownership of this car, you have to have some thick skin, because this is probably the most hated car on the internet, and it has been for the past 4 years. Nobody has ever shown the Ghibli love, whether it's the auto blogs, whether it's other YouTubers like F-Spot, Vehicle Versions, or the most infamous Doug DeMiro. Nobody has really showed the Ghibli any kind of praise, all right? So it takes someone like me to be one of the first Ghibli customers to really start put their Ghibli online and really start to talk about how they liked it and what they didn't like about it, to really get a full ownership perspective and somebody who actually uses the car daily, and it's a true perspective, not just somebody from the outside looking in. So if you guys don't remember, I got my Ghibli in December of 2014, my first Ghibli, before I got this one in January of 2016. I was putting all of those videos out all the time on what I liked and what I hated. And what I didn't like was so much hate that it got because it wasn't a true Maserati. You know, I always played around with the hate. I, laughed at the people who really just crapped on the car, or I made memes myself about it. I even made a video about shit Maserati haters say, just to make fun of the people making fun of it. This is one of those cars where Maserati, a lot of people expect a certain standard from them, which they should. The Ghibli, they felt like didn't meet their standards. This car, just the hate took off. And like I said, you have to have thick skin, which I do. I have thick skin here, but it just it was annoying, if anything. Now, yes, the Ghibli is perfectly flawed. There's a lot of things that could be fixed about it. There's a lot of things that I've mentioned on my channel before that, like I said, I'm pretty transparent and I don't hold too much back, which is why I've had Maserati come at me a couple of times for that. But this car is not as bad as everybody says it is. It's just part of that FCA merger that really got everybody's panties up in a bundle. And then they found flaws on the car. With the power of that and the FCA merger, it's just one of those things to where there was no coming back from the hate that this car got. I know I've stood and rallied for this car, and I continue to do so. But obviously, it's something that I would like to move forward from. Number 3. Under the hate that this car got, some of it was for good reason. Build quality and faulty parts was one of them. So between this Maserati and my other Maserati, I've been back to the shop a lot. Now, you guys have followed me throughout my journey, and you guys might remember more than I do on all the parts that I've had replaced under warranty or anything that has just given me problems. Stuff like, and this is off the top of my head, and I'm gonna list out a few things, but stuff like my warped rotors, which was huge on my old channel, where Maserati replaced my rotors. Now, those are Brembo rotors. Not exactly sure what happened, if it was on Brembo's end or what, but that was something. My liner under my tire here, coming off and tearing. My exhaust rattle on this side here, on the driver's side, I had an exhaust rattle, and I think it's the flaps from the electric valve control that would rattle, and it'd be like metal on metal tinging noise every time the car started and it was running. You hear the ding 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 like that. That happened twice. This has been replaced twice. So that was, you know, I mean, a $1,200 part, I believe. And this was under warranty. Imagine if it wasn't. In my old Ghibli, my 2015, I had spark plugs, throttle body problems, stuff like that, to where they would misfire and the car would go into lit mode. Now, Maserati actually paid for my first month's payment on my first Ghibli. Imagine the first time you get a Ghibli, first time you get into a Maserati in general, and it's in the shop more than it's in your possession, and Maserati actually pays for your first month's payment. That actually happened on my 2015 Maserati Ghibli, to where it was just in the shop so much, they wanted to take care of me and pay for it to make sure they figured out what was going on, because they could not. I had a power steering light come on that had to be reset. I had to get my steering wheel replaced because the leather was flaking. My seat has gone through a couple of different rattles. I've had to have my glove box replaced because the button broke, and this whole thing had to come out in order to do so, which is an $1,100 part itself. My headrest bracket broke, so that would rattle completely. You'd also have stuff like rattles in the door. Just by driving, you would hear a rattle, or closing the doors, you would hear the rattle. You know, it's just stuff like plastic bits and pieces and clips that hold things together. They kind of fail sometimes. Now, those are just a couple of things off the top of my head. Whoever's been following the channel, you guys might remember some stuff that you remember seeing a video that I did on that I had an issue with, or just something that really pertained to you so you wouldn't forget it, that you saw the video on that. But that's just off the top of my head that things have gone wrong. Now, obviously with this vehicle, it's excusable for the most part because it is a 3.5-year-old car. Not everything happened when it was that old, but you know what I'm saying. Throughout the ownership of the vehicle, things are gonna happen. It's just how it is. But some of the stuff happened very early on my 2015 Ghibli. That happened way too early within the first month. So stuff like that, I am not going to miss sitting at the dealership or having to get a loaner car or a rental car so they can figure out what was going on with my car. I applaud all my technicians, all right, the one in particular who took care of me every time. You know, it's not an easy job to deal with these kind of cars, waiting on parts, waiting on Maserati to make approvals and stuff like that. It's really hard to work on these cars, and harder than you think, guys. Number 4, I will never ever miss the maintenance on this car. Now, all cars have maintenance, again, but man, these cars are a little bit expensive. Now, there's one thing to buy a car, but it's another thing to maintain them. There are more expensive cars to run. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this car is number 1. There are more expensive cars to own, all right? But stuff like oil changes that are a little high up there. I mean, about $300 or so, depending on when you go. If you go to a Ferrari dealership, it's about $500. Say if you need to get the spark plugs done with the oil change and stuff like that, which I just recently done and did a video for you guys, that's $500 itself, $560. Say stuff like your tires. You need to get the tires replaced. Depending on the tires you get, you're at least spending probably at least $1,200, just depending. Obviously, you're gonna wanna put the right size tires on here, but you can go with Pirellis, you can go with Michelins, you can go with all seasons or summers. That is something that it's up to you, but it's still a big ticket. If you were to replace the brakes on this thing, you're looking at well over $2 grand for the Brembo brakes. You know, it costs to play, you know, you gotta pay to play, that's how it is. Now these are wear and tear items, obviously, and the annual maintenance for these cars is every 365 days or every 12,000 miles. So that's all, you know, once a year kind of things. But putting fuel in it, changing the tires, making sure that the brakes are changed, stuff like that, it's gonna cost some money. I mean, even changing the key fob battery costs, you know, 40, 50 bucks. I'm not necessarily complaining. I'm just saying that I am okay with taking a break from doing that and paying for stuff like that so I can put it in other places, because there are more expensive cars to run. There are way more expensive cars to run. Now the last thing that I'm not going to miss about my 2016 Maserati Ghibli S is the technology. Now I know you guys are probably gonna say, oh, the buttons, FCA buttons, parts bin, blah, 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 blah. I didn't really ever care about that. I've mentioned in that plenty of videos, I don't care. As long as they work, which these have worked fine. I don't think I've actually had any button failure. None of these. I didn't have anything with my steering wheel buttons. None of the buttons here. I don't think I've had any problems with any of my buttons, let alone my infotainment. The Maserati Touch Control Plus system that's out now is a lot better. It started in 2017 when they got the new system in, more implemented towards Maserati. This one is more of just an FCA kind of brand, but you know, this is very dated. Even when you compare it to another Maserati, it's very dated. But without what's out there in the market right now, you know, me doing a little bit of car shopping and filming it for you guys, just looking at this compared to the Mercedes-Benz new infotainment system for the augmented reality, holy crap. I mean, I never needed technology that much or all the gimmicky stuff, which is why this is number 5 on the list, because obviously I would like it, but I never needed it. And Maserati's never been about all of that stuff, you know. I mean, still got the mechanical gauges and stuff like that, and a decent screen and everything in the middle. But, you know, looking at this, it just looks ancient. It really does. I would love some nice technology, just to kind of, you know, justify my purchase. What am I getting when I spend a certain amount of money on a car? So cars these days are giving you a little bit of everything. Like I don't even have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or anything like that on here, just because they didn't implement that system until 2017. But stuff like that, just the simplest things, and stuff that comes on every other car these days is not in this one, and it's just because the infotainment was behind. It started in 2014 and 2015, 2016, then they changed it in 2017 and added even more in 2019 as far as what you can do. But I would really love to have something that's more updated. And I know with every car you get, the technology is going to be outdated within a couple of years. That's just how technology is in general. It doesn't have to do with just cars. Being in this, it just feels a little bit of lackluster. And with me getting my next car for my family, I feel like I want to accommodate for everybody and not just myself. You know, normally it's fine for just myself, but when I'm including everybody else, I'm really not gonna miss the technology that's in this car. So let's go over the list. Number 1, I'm not gonna miss the depreciation that comes with this car. Number 2, I'm definitely not gonna miss the hate that everybody has towards this vehicle. Number 3, I won't miss the faulty parts that comes along with having a Maserati Ghibli. Number 4, I'm not gonna miss those maintenance costs, what it costs to own and run this car. And number 5, I'm not gonna miss the technology that this Ghibli currently offers. Now, keep in mind that this applies to this Maserati Ghibli that's in front of me here. Not every Maserati Ghibli is going to give you the same feeling, whether it's good or bad. Not every Maserati is gonna give you the same feeling, good or bad. Some people have had these cars and have had no flaws whatsoever. They've liked every single thing about this car. All right, this has been the best car that they've had. They're very lucky to have it, and they want another one, and that happens, and that's fine. This is my second one. It's time for me to move on. And with that said, being my second one doesn't mean that I will ever, or sorry, that doesn't mean that I will never be in another Maserati again. I plan on coming back to the brand. All right, so this is something that just want to share my experience before the car does go, and it will be soon. I want to share my experience with you guys one last time, just to let you know 5 things that I love about the car and I'm going to miss, 5 things that I didn't really like so much and that I won't miss at all. So make sure you check out the other video that I'll link at the end of this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. I know it's gonna be one of those videos where it has a negative vibe in the comment section and in the dislikes. Obviously people are gonna take this the wrong way. I'm just very transparent with my videos. So I always say, this is what I like, this is what I hate. I'm very honest and I don't like to kiss ass or anything like that. So I'm gonna have both sides of the spectrum. So that's all this is. Obviously I love Maserati, I love the Maserati brand. No car is perfect. This was just my things between my past 2 Ghibli ownerships of what I've experienced over the past 4.5 years total. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did and you want to see more Ron's Rides videos, definitely click that thumbs up. Helps get the video up in the rankings, more people can talk about it, and it just helps the channel overall and support. Then you can subscribe and click that notification bell so you can get Ron's Rides videos right into your inbox. Now if you guys also want to support the channel, you can click down in the description box and you can check out my social media links. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, see what I'm up to next, see the different memes and videos and stuff I'm posting. You can also click the Patreon or one-time PayPal donation as well if you want to help support to the channel, help get some Ron's Rides merch out there and everything like that. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully this didn't come off too negative, and hopefully we had a good time here, you know, just sharing our ownership experiences with Maserati and Maserati Ghibli in general. Now with that said, you guys be blessed, be safe. We'll see you guys in the next Ron's Rides video. You guys have a good time and enjoy yourselves. We'll talk to you then. Peace.